Hi everyone, my name is Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also over on Instagram as well. Welcome to the Sunday morning briefing. This is FlossTube number 51 and it is the 17th of October today. And I've got the right FlossTube number and I've got the right date. And that's something that hasn't happened in a long time. How is everybody doing? I'm just going to show you my new mug while I can actually hold it up with its topper on. Oh my god. Which just about sums up this week. Nice in a kind of October-y way. Oh my god, in everything else. In absolutely everything else. So let me just take the lid off and have a little wet of the whistle. So yeah, this week, it's been a crazy week. Lots been going on at school. We've had observations this week, so I've had those to prepare for. And just don't seem to have really had that much time or blocks of time. Everything's been little itsy bitsies here, there and everywhere. So I've got 2 FFOs to show you this week and that's it. I have done no other stitching, but I have managed to get 2 FFOs. One little funny thing that you'll appreciate, I think, maybe. I think you remember maybe last week I talked about the graffiti on my desks at school, and I'd said since lockdown the graffiti's been a lot worse. And I don't know if it was there before I mentioned it, but certainly this week on one of my desks somebody has put my channel name, and so I had all this sudden rush of thought went through my head. My first thought was, oh, I'm gonna have to scrub that off. So I usually go around with bits of sandpaper and bits of acetone and take it off. So my first thought was, oh, I'm gonna have to take that off. My second thought was, maybe I'll leave it. Maybe I'll get a few more watches out of it. And then my third thought was, oh, I've spelt it wrong, I'm gonna have to correct that. So I totally didn't know what to do with it, so yeah, I took it off. But there we go, it just made me chuckle. Right, before I get into showing my 2 FFOs, and I think you'll know what one of them is, but you might be a little bit surprised by the second one. I just want to talk to you about a couple of magazine subscriptions that I absolutely love, who've both got brilliant offers on at the moment. So the first one is Readly, and I've spoken to you about Readly before. And I'm going to put a link down below so that you can get a free trial of Readly if you fancy it. So Readly is an online magazine subscription. In the UK you pay £7.99 a month, and that gets you access to 5,000 different magazine titles, and it also gets you 5 different profiles. So you can have one, your partner can have one, kids can have one, granny can have one, whoever you want to give a profile to. And it means that they can all have their own favourites, they can all keep their own content. Now, I think Readly is absolutely fantastic for stitchers. What I've done is I've made a quick list of the stitching magazines that are on there, and these are just the ones in the English language. There are other stitching magazines that are in other languages, in French and Italian, which obviously you just need the chart, right? You can quite easily follow a chart. So these are just the ones that are in the English language. So you've got CrossStitcher magazine. You've got all the issues for CrossStitcher magazine back to January 2018. So you can go back through all the back issues. You've got Just Cross Stitch back to July 2014, Cross Stitch Crazy back to 2014, Cross Stitch Gold back to 2014, Cross Stitch Favourites, 365 Cross Stitch, Ultimate Cross Stitch, and they're ones that have sort of issues here, there and everywhere, but you've got all of those back issues. You've got World of Cross Stitch back to 2014. You've also got the Just Cross Stitch specials, so the Halloween issues and the Christmas issues. So certainly for the last couple of years on those. So it's absolutely fantastic. I use it all the time to go back through those old magazines, because you know what it's like, sometimes you go and buy a magazine on the stand and they're maybe £5 each, and you get it home because it's probably got a free gift on the front, and you get it home and you look through and you think, oh, there's actually nothing that I really wanted in there. You know, some folks really like the free gifts. To me, I never really stitch them, they're not always my type of thing. But there's always 1 or 2 pieces in there that I think, oh, I'd like to stitch that, but it's not always worth buying the magazine for. So if you're in a household and you spend at least, you buy at least 2 magazines for anybody in your family per month, this is going to save you cash, and you can get back to all the back issues. I need to say back orders then, all the back issues. And the other thing is, you know, I've done a quilt top, but I fancy doing a bit more quilting. There's lots and lots of quilting magazines on there. There's lots of sewing magazines. There's lots of knitting, crochet, whatever it is you're into, you will find more than you could ever hope to do on Readly. So I highly, highly recommend Readly. If you're not already a subscriber, click on the link down below and you can get a free trial and see if you like it. And for £7.99 a month, to me, it's a no-brainer. And the other one I wanted to mention, I meant to mention it last week, was PNPS, so Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. Now I get the online subscription, which is usually $24 per year, which gets you 4 issues, a spring, a summer, an autumn and a winter one. And I think it's fantastic value, even though I don't do Punch Needle. So I was umming and ahhing, and you can actually look through the magazines on the website and see whether they've got projects in them that you think you're gonna like. But I was umming and ahhing. I was thinking, oh, am I really gonna spend 24 bucks on a magazine subscription where I know I'm not gonna do half the stuff that's in it? And the answer is yes, I am, in a heartbeat, because the designs are so good. I would hazard a guess to say that 80% of them go on to be fully published designs by the designers once the magazine subscription, or once the magazine sort of royalty is ended for them. But this year they have got a special deal. They have got an offer for $39, let me just check, and it gives you the subscription to the entire digital library. So right the way back, I think the very first issue was the last issue of 2015, I want to say. So it gives you all of the issues all the way back. Now I actually emailed and said, oh okay, if I get this subscription, does that mean I've got to keep my subscription at $39 every year after that so I can keep access to it? And the lovely lady wrote back and she said, no, you can download the issues, and then once you've got all your issues downloaded, next year you can just go back to paying 24 bucks so that you can get just the next 4 issues. So to me, that's an absolute no-brainer as well. If you think about you're paying £8–10 for one pattern, $39 for all of those years worth again is an easy choice for me. So do have a look at both of those. I will put the links down below and you can go and see. Right, finishes. I am so pleased to show you these 2 finishes. As I said, you're going to know what the first one is because I've shown you week by week how she's developed, and now she's finally framed, so I can't wait to show her to you. But I am just going to have it's that time of year where all the little gremlins and ghoulies that aren't COVID, but they do start going for the throat. So this is what I will be releasing for Black Sampler November, and it will be going into my Etsy shop later on today, I hope. IT gremlins aside, I hope she'll be going in there later on today. So she stitched on 36 count summer khaki and stitched with the 12 weight black sulky thread, except for the oval one, which I did with a single strand of DMC 310. And there she is. So for those of you that have seen her before and know her well, there we go, that's a bit better on the linen colour actually. This is Nessie Mitchell 1929, and she's my first, let me come over this way, my first of my designed sampler releases. So for those of you who don't know the story, and I've got a little bit more to add about Nessie actually. Nessie was the firstborn of my grandmother. She would have been my mum's sister, but she didn't survive. She was born, and all we currently have is a little document from the county council where my grandfather went and actually bought her plot when she died, and that's on the 8th of May 1929. And we always thought that she'd only survived a few days, that she hadn't survived very long. But I actually found her record on Scotland's People this week, and my mum's actually ordered her birth certificate because on her death record it actually says that the cause of death, let me write this down because this is how it's written, was general deterioration due to being premature, and the time on the time given, or the age given at death, was 1 month. So it seems like she may have lived for slightly longer than we perhaps first thought. And her day of death was the 8th of May, about 2:45 in the morning. It's written down as. So that little piece of paper that we've got, which is the receipt for the plot, I just think of my grandfather, who I never knew, having to have that news early in the morning, and then the first thing he's got to do when the office is open in the morning is to go down and buy a plot. So yeah, it was quite a poignant find actually. But like I said, my mum's ordered a copy of the birth certificate, so when we get that through, I'll be able to tell you exactly what her date of birth was, but we can assume it was sometime in April. So, but other than that, what we have is just a really simple band sampler, all cross stitch. These are stitched in eyelet stitch, but you could easily turn them into little blocks of 4 cross stitches if you wanted to. The name here is over 1, but if you wanted to stitch on Ada, you could either leave the name out, or you could stitch it using back stitch. And then you've got what I think is quite a Scottish border at the bottom. So yeah, I can't wait to put her in my Etsy store tomorrow. I had thought about putting her as a drum, and I still would really like to put her as a drum, and I would like to stitch her in a different colour as well actually. Having stitched her in black, which I really love, I would actually like to stitch her in a different colour as well. So so yeah, I'm super pleased with the way she's turned out. And I got the frame, bought the frame online from Skelf Frames. My phone just decided that it was going to randomly switch itself off, which it hasn't done before. Anyway, the frame, as I was just saying, I bought online from a company called Skelf Frames, which I really like for bespoke frames. If you order before 11 o'clock, then it comes next day delivery, free delivery. So can't fault them. I've bought several of them in the past and I'm always really happy with them. So yeah. Okay, my next finish. I've been determined to get this finished this week. I knew I wasn't going to get much stitching in this week, so I was like, oh, I'm going to focus on one thing and I'm going to get it done. And so I finished my Pumpkin Gardner by MamaWitchCrossStitch. And as usual with me, when I work out how I'm going to finish something, that is the real then push to get it done. So let me show you how I have finished her. There she is. Now I'm going to try and get her without casting shadows on herself, which is pretty tricky. So the one thing I loved, or one of the things that I loved about this stitch, was the shape of it. And I wanted something that would help me show off the shape of it rather than hide the shape. Because so much of the things that we do have to be kind of rectangular, so it's always nice when there's something that doesn't have to be rectangular if it isn't rectangular. And so I thought, what does a pumpkin gardener need more than her very own shed? So I went onto eBay and I found this wooden shelf frame, wooden house-shaped shelf frame thingy, and I've painted it and I've distressed it a little bit. I might distress it just a bit more because it still looks a little bit too uniform in colour. And then all I did was followed my normal mounting procedure. So I've mounted her onto a piece of foam core, pinned her into the shape, and then she is sat in her shed, in her garden shed. I'm trying to work out which is the best. I'm trying not to get so much of a shadow on her. Now I have set her, it's quite a thick frame, So she's not sat right at the back of the frame, but she isn't sat right at the front either. Because what I wanted was just a little lip to kind of give the impression that she's in her shed on her allotment. And this one's a little bit big, but I can make some smaller ones. I wanted to then be able to add something on the front if I wanted to. Now my friend Sue has actually just crocheted me some pumpkins, so I'm hoping that some of them might be able to sit at the front or somewhere close by. So she's quite big. She's stitched on a 30 count Weeks Dye Works Dolphin, the old Weeks, using the Call for DMCs. So the only thing that was called for that I haven't stitched is there's just a few sort of single white stitches around, which I do like, but quite honestly, there were points when I thought I was never going to get to the end of it. I kept finding other little stitches here and there. I stitched it in a really kind of scattergun way. I know why I'd stitched it in a scattergun way, because for some reason I got half a stitch off. The body was half a stitch off to the border, so I had to then come back down to the border to try and then get back into the body and try and put it right. But I know where it is, but I'm not going to tell you where it is. And so I just kind of had it in a really scattergun approach. So I kept finding all these other little stitches that needed doing here, there and everywhere. So I was trying to finish her off today while Chris was doing a massage, and I was like, oh, I'm never going to finish, I'm never going to get to the end. But there we go. So there is my pumpkin Gardner, and I'm really happy with her. I'll try and put a photograph on Instagram tomorrow without the casting the shadow. But there we go, there she is. And that's it. That's everything that I stitched this week. So I literally did just finish working on that. I tell a lie, I showed you last week, I bought the little Prairie Schooler Birds block of 9, and I was going to stitch them separately, and I've started one of those, but nothing much. Right, I've got some Floss Drops, I've got some beautiful happy mail to share with you. I've got a freebie, and I've got some haul as well, and a start that I want to do. So the first thing, I've got some little Floss Drops, people to say thank you to. So the first ones that came were from, now I'm not sure if it's Cheryl or Cheryl Thompson, so apologies for that. But I just wanted to read the very first bit of her card, and I hope she won't mind. She says, I wonder if you realise what an amazing thing you've done. You've started an international friendship between cross-stitchers like the pen pals of long ago. I just gave the idea. It was just an idea. You guys have taken it and run with it, and you've swapped and you've communicated, and it's been so much fun for me as well. And I'm so glad that everybody else has really enjoyed it. So she sent me two designs. Some of these little square ones, which I believe is a quilt. Let me just get this absolutely right. A quilt that she stitched. Yeah, and this one is from the California-Oregon border. Beautiful photograph that she'd taken of the sun streaming through those trees. So looking forward to using them. And I have to say, when I took the card out of the envelope, my heart skipped a little beat because of the handwriting. Your handwriting is so similar to my my Auntie Jeannie's, and so it was just a real blast from the past. I then received another little card there, which is a great little card, a little hocus pocus. And these ones are from B Swere, S-W-E-R-E. I'll put the details down below. This gorgeous flamenco dancer. So I can't wait to use those. I'm gonna have to buy some more floss rings actually. I'm getting low on floss rings. It's just a joy every time you get a project out to kit it up with something new. I got some gorgeous ones through from Katie Strachan. Now, if you watch Susan Stanley, she's mentioned Katie Strachan a few times. Katie, I believe, is a surface embroiderer, and so I am imagining that these on here and these on here are her work. And I know she's got an Instagram, so I will be definitely heading over there for a bit more of a closer look. I'm sure I've looked when Susan first mentioned her, but yeah, such beautiful work. Just checking. Yeah, no, I'm sure that's her work. And then I had another lovely card, which is just stuck to the envelope. Come on. With birds and cardinals on. There we go. And these are from Victoria Williams from Texas. Now, look at those scissors. Wouldn't we all have a scissor collection like that? They all look the same down the back of the sofa from my perspective. No, but I'd love scissors like that. I'd never use them. I'd have to put them on display. Now, if you're wondering why there's an extra hole punched in the bottom there, this is a great idea. So some stitchers will put their main skein through there, and then any little bits that's left on a strand of floss, or you know when you separate your floss if you need 2 strands, they will put the rest just on that little hole there so they know what it is they've got to use next. So amazing. I really like, just noticed those actually, those ones at the bottom. How much fun are those? Fabulous. So thank you very much to everyone who sent me floss drops this week. I'm still continuing to send them out. So yeah, hopefully you will get yours soon, and then I'll be getting in touch with my next batch of people. I think I'm going to need another box of cards though. So yeah, it'll be my 3rd box of cards. So fabulous. Just love it. Just love it. And then I had a very kind lady from Canada who contacted me and asked if she could send me something. And so she wanted to send me some threads, because I'd mentioned about the anchor spools and we couldn't get them in this country. So she sent me some of those, but also she sent me some other threads as well. So she sent me some Cosmo threads, a couple of Cosmo threads, which I've never stitched with before. So gorgeous sort of red wine colour, 246, and an amazing purple, which is 287A. And she also sent me this lovely DMC, which I love, which is 4517, one of the Coloris ones. She sent me some lovely buttons, which I can't wait to use. I can definitely use those. She sent me a little frame, which I'm definitely going to put on my tree this year, with a little picture or maybe a little stitch in. I love those sorts of things. I absolutely love buying Christmas decorations from places I've been, and pictures and things like that, because every time you get them out at Christmas, it's just like a trip down memory lane. I've got Christmas decorations from everywhere I've been in the world. I've got a Galapagos tortoise from the Galapagos Islands, a glass one. I've got cloisonné ones from China, even ones from Borneo, all over the place. I always pick up a little Christmas decoration. She sent a little piece of felt too, which I think was to wrap the frame in, but I shall be using that. Some of this gorgeous even weave banding, or linen banding I should say, which I've actually got a spool that's just the right colour, just the right size for that. So I could make a long one, just wrap it round, and it would look amazing. And then, very, very excited to have these, if I can pick them up in one go. She sent me some of the anchor spools. Now I'm super interested in these, and I think these are going to really help. So I don't know if it's been the case in America, but in the UK, a lot of anchor has dwindled really. There used to be always a DMC stand and an anchor stand, but I don't see so much anchor these days. So she sent me some reds. So those are the reds, which you can't go wrong with reds, can you? Look at those. So I'm not 19, 20 and 46 are the colours there. And then she sent me a blue and a green, or blue and a turquoise. If anybody's desperate to know the colours, just message me and I'll tell you the numbers, because otherwise it'll be... She sent me a brown, a purple, and I think this one may be a very dark blue, although I can't really see in this light because I know that's not the anchor number for black. So I cannot wait to try those, and they're such a nice mix of colours as well that they will be super, super useful. So thank you so much for those to my lovely friend in Canada. And I received another parcel from a lady called Linda, and we got chatting actually when I showed the scarlet letter chart that we're all stitching for Laura's birthday, Elizabeth Isles, the one with all the cherubs, angels in the border. And she mentioned to me that she'd stitched over 50 of the scarlet letter charts, which is just phenomenal. She did say she'd been at it a while, to be fair to her. She said, don't worry, I've been at it for a while. But yeah, just what I wouldn't give for a good poke around her walls. Amazing. But she sent me some anchor as well. I think these anchor spools, guys, have really taken off in the States. So fingers crossed we get them over here very soon. So another red and a... But I really like those as a mix of colours. I think they would make a really, really nice combination there. So thank you for those. She also sent me some 46 count. Now I have got something on 46 count at the moment, and when this arrived I was looking at it and I was thinking, oh, that looks doable, that looks doable. I'm definitely going to need magnification for this one, but it's nearly 12 inches by 18 inches, which on 46 count I think you can pretty much stitch anything you like on that size. So yeah, I am going to give it a go. I am going to give it a go. And then she so kindly sent me a stack of scarlet letter charts. So I'm going to share them with you. And then I've got one that I can't wait to start. I love them all, but there's one that's pushed itself to the top of the tree that I nearly bought. So I'm going to hide that one right at the end. So this one, this pin cushion with this amazing kind of crowned, that's not building, it's almost like a crowned pair of crowned gates on it, which I love. I think I'd probably change the colours on it, but I really love the design. And then she sent me Marion Robertson, which is a Scottish sampler. Try and not get so much glare on her. With that beautiful big house in the middle. And I love, love, love that one. And she also sent me, let me just find that one, because that's also a Scottish one as well. Isabel Reedy, or Reddy. And I very nearly bought her as well on the secondary market. But she's a big girl too. Yeah, big girl. Sally Hunt. So I really like the coloured in alphabet, so the fact that the background's been coloured in and the wording of that one's been coloured in at the bottom. And she also sent me Diligence. Look at that border. Look at that border. You know what, even if you didn't want to do the whole thing, you could just do a drum in that border, or just the top, or just the bottom. And then I love this one too, Harriet Worrell. Again, I think I might change up the colours very slightly, but I really like the design of that one. And the Dora Sanger sampler, which is just those two amazing houses. And they're those sort of houses that you build brick by brick. So love, love, love. And then she included Jelly Bean sampler, a Massachusetts sampler. So let me just take her out of the packet. So she's on black with this full coverage, pretty much section at the bottom. In fact, I think it is totally, apart from the windows, but everything else is full coverage at the bottom. So I will be starting that. Definitely will be starting that, because I've loved that one for a long time. So I'm so pleased to have it. Thank you so much, Linda, and for your generosity, and for my friend from Canada. That is super generous of both of you. Right, I've got freebie left, a little tiny bit of haul, tiny bit of haul, and then something that I've got planned to start. So let me just see if I can reach it without having to go too far. Just before I do this, I've got some shout outs to do. Some FlossTube that I've watched. Again, I've not had a lot of time this week, but I've watched a few. Caught up with Debbie from Creatively Yours, whose birthday it was. Happy birthday, Debbie. I've started Lisa Smith Kinder Stitcher, her video. I haven't quite got to the end of it. I've also been watching Penny's daughter shares. Oh no, I've written it so badly I can't read what I've written. Oh, I'm going to write it along the bottom. I've written it so badly. I've written Penny's daughter and then I've put another word and I cannot read it. Oh, what an idiot. Anyway, love. She's on her 5th FlossTube already. She's total natural behind or in front of the camera. Absolutely love everything she's got to show. I've been stalking her on Instagram for quite a while, and then when I saw she'd started a FlossTube, I was super excited. Great projects, great finishes, lovely ideas. Another Michelle. We're here to take over. The Michelles are here to take over the cross-stitch world. And I have got to watch in my watch list. Let's give you a hint of what's in my watch list. Alba Stitcher. Finally a farm girl. Chrissy, I finished it. I finished the Pumpkin Gardner. Yay. She finished hers ages ago when we started them together. I've got Laurie Holt's one to watch as well, and the new one from the Crafty Stitchers. And would you believe I have still got a Brenda and the Serial Starter to watch? That's how bad things have been around here. I've still got a Brenda and a Serial Starter to watch. Right, freebie. Let's do this one first. Pinker and Pumpkin quilting. Yes, Pinker and Pumpkin blogspot. Nearly. Melissa has released another one. I'm going to come back here. Another one of her little sheep in the hats. I did one in March for St Patrick's Day, so it was in a sort of an upturned top hat with a shamrock. So this one in an upturned witch's hat. Yes, definitely going to be stitching that. And then picked up this from TK Maxx, and it's a Christmas decoration with glass beads, and I was like, that needs a stitching piece in the middle of it, either kind of hanging freely or just as a hoop, you know, with a sort of hoop in the middle there. $3.99 from TK Maxx. It's got little red beads on it as well. So I was like, yep, that's definitely going to come home with me. Nice Christmas finish in the middle. Perfect. And then I've bought a couple of charts. The first one I bought was A Little Bit of Winter by Samplers and Stitches Carol, and she did a summer one, which I think she gave away for free. She did an autumn one, and she's done a winter one, and for a limited time this is £1.50 on her Etsy store, so I would definitely grab it. I did grab it before she puts the price up. Not that it's not worth the price that she's selling it at, but if someone's got it on sale, then I'm getting it on sale. So amazing. If you've already bought this from her, just look out for an email from her or a message from her. She let me know that she'd had a little issue with where the stitches overlap, you know, the sort of little grade area where the stitches overlap, and she'd made a correction to the chart. So if you have already purchased this, just check your Etsy messages, because she might be sending you out the corrected version. or just watch out for it. Just beware that the little overlap might not be quite what you think it is. And then I've seen this one around, and I was sort of unaware as to where it had come from. I'd just seen it and I hadn't picked up where it was from. And then when I was watching Penny's Daughter, I'm sure it shares, Penny's Daughter, and she mentioned about Kim Goldman as well, this one by Mojo Stitches. And this is called Mary Barton's work. So it's a beautiful bird sat on a gorgeous floral display. And I love it. I really like it framed up like that actually as well. I don't know as I might come just a shade lighter. That looks like Picture This Plus Ale to me. Yeah, it is. But I think I would go maybe just a shade lighter on that. And plans, immediate plans. Now, if you've been following me, at least for the last few weeks, you'll know that a very, very kind stitcher lent me her copy of And To All a Good Night. Now, linen. I've been stumped on what linen to do this on. Because you know what it's like when something's so precious that you want it for so long, you want to pick the perfect linen. And I thought I had one, that was the one that I dyed that was a 38 count, but I've decided I want to do this with 2 strands because I really want the colour of the floss that I've chosen to stand out. And the floss that I've chosen for the bricks is this one, A Silks For You, PR067, which is a beautiful sort of browns and burgundy. But then you've got the moon, you've got a big moon, so you want that to be able to stand out as well. So the called for this was Dark Cappuccino by R&R, 28 or a 30 count, because it's actually not that big. So I think I'm going to go for this one, which is one I dyed. I need to see how the moon's going to look on it, and then fingers crossed this is going to be the right one, because I really want to get stitching it, and I want to return it as soon as I can to the lovely lady who lent it to me. So fingers crossed that will be the right linen. If not, I've got a little piece of 32 count left that I could actually dye something else from. I want to start it. I really want to get it started. And that's it. Oh, nearly got to the end without a big fluff. That's it from me. I hope you have a lovely stitchy week. I hope you're enjoying October and all the dark stitching that you're doing and all the Halloween stitching that you're doing. And I shall be back with you next week. So until then, stay safe, happy stitching, and stay classy, stitchers.